Okay, the original Greene plugs were not functional. They were faux. This one, as you can see, it appears as though it's pinning the joint, but in reality, it was just faux. It didn't do much of anything. If you turn around here and look at this one, this is the end of a breadboard end, and it actually does a small purpose. It's hiding the head of a screw. That was the only time they really had a functional purpose. If you take a close look at the furniture of Greene, you're going to see this very low profile. They were about a 64th of an inch proud. In fact, one of the drawings, original drawings, has a pencil notation that said 1/64th proud, the furniture. And that's what our target is. That's what we're aiming at. We want to get this low, very low profile, like seen right here. So the ebony plugs start out as ebony rods, and they need to be about a light 64th over the size of the opening, the hole, about 10/1000ths of an inch or so. So I'm going to make an initial cut here with just some scrap wood. I don't want to use ebony, that's very expensive stuff. And then I'm going to adjust from there. Okay, and I'm about 20/1000ths over, and I'm going to go in that 20/1000ths that I was off. There we are. Okay, I'm going to make another test cut on the scrap. And there we are. We're about 10/1000ths over right now, what we want. So now I've got my ebony. I'm going to make a cut on the actual ebony now that I've got the dimension I want. I'll lower the blade. So there we've got our ebony rod, 10/1000ths over, just like we want it. The process of making the pegs starts with this jig that I made for the disc sander. A couple things on using this jig is the peg, or the rod rather, is going to rest on the top of this side and the bottom of that side. And let's go over to the disc sander here. And I've already got the hole, proper hole for that one. And this is, people make the mistake of using this like a pencil sharpener, you know, and just cramming it in and keep going. And what you're going to get then is you're going to get a bevel. And you don't want that. You want to go in just a little ways and stop and twirl it. It doesn't take much. If you're just beginning, you can go in and hold your finger like that to keep it from going further. Let's go ahead and do one. And that's all it is. And it's just, all we're doing is we're knocking it down, and if the high point isn't dead center, that's okay. We're just trying to get a little bit of a slight crown in there. So, and this is kind of this is a real easy part here, taking the scratches out and kind of smoothing it over. But it can be elusive to some people. And the mistakes people make is first they use either too much or too little pressure. And so if you have a bathroom scales and push down to about 2 or 3 pounds, that's about what you want. That's about the right pressure. Now the other issue is when you're going to do this motion. I call it a kind of a pendulum motion, but you don't want to go too far over and you don't want to go too shallow. You want to go about like that. And I usually go 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it 90. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is 220 grit I've started with, and I have a soft pad here that kind of gives it a little cushion. That you can't do this on something. This is like a shelf liner. That's all you need. Then I'm going to go up to 320 grit and do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn it 90. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to progress up to 600. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what I should have is a nice even sheen and no scratches. That's what you're after, and a nice even flow where it's real pillowed, very shallow. Now what we're going to do is we're going to buff it. I have a buffing wheel set up here, and I like to use the white rouge. I don't know the difference between one and another. I went down to the hardware store and I bought a bunch of them. This one is the one that really works. I'm going to charge it up. And then it's nice and black and shiny. Okay, so we're going to cut it to length next. And the hole you're going to be punching later is going to be about 5/16 to 3/8 of an inch thick. We want this to be not that deep. We want it to go about 1/4 of an inch. We want it to be shallower than what the hole is going to be. We don't want it bottoming out. And then the last step is going to be to back bevel it. I do that with a chisel, and I'm going to leave about a light 1/16 or so at the top and bevel down. This makes it easy to insert, but that's our plug.